for youth with the tools and knowledge to thrive in a digital world. From AI, we can talk about cybersecurity, communications, computer literacy. And today we have a very powerful lineup who is ready to inspire and inform you. And I do not want to take much of their time because they have a lot to discuss with us and we can get started. But before we get into our speakers, I am going to invite to give us a brief welcome and opening remarks by Ms. Karen Remy, our job developer. So Ms. Remy, can go ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development. Senator Honorable Oscar George, Minister of State in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development with specific responsibility for youth and sports. Mrs. Letitia Wyke, Permanent Secretary, Ministry for Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development. Miss Merita Hyacinth, the Chief Youth Development Officer. Ms. Marcia Barron, Assistant Chief Youth Development Officer. Our panelists, youth officers and staff of the DYBT, members of the public and the media. It is an honor to welcome you to this symposium as part of this year's celebration of International Youth Skill Day, which was observed on Tuesday, 15 July 2025. It is a day that shines a spotlight on the boundless potential of young people and the transformative power of skills development. This year's theme, Youth Empowerment for AI and Digital Skills, invites us to imagine a future where young people is equipped not just to participate, but lead in the digital age. As artificial intelligence reshape how we live, how we learn and work. Skills are modern tools. They are engines of opportunity, creativity, and development. From coding classrooms in rural communities to digital storytelling workshops that preserve cultural heritage, we are witnessing a new generation rising with resilience and innovation. This symposium seeks to highlight the avenues available to young people to develop their AI and digital skills. It also seeks to encourage the closing of the digital divide, investing in human-centered education, and amplifying new voices in shaping the future of work. Whether through vocational training or grassroots initiative, every skill nurtured is a step towards sustainable development and improved livelihoods. To the listening public, once again, welcome to the symposium hosted by the Youth Development Division within the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development. I encourage everyone to continue to build a future where youth skills light the way. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Karianne, for such a motivating start this evening. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go straight into our first speaker. And our first speaker this evening is no stranger to innovation and youth leadership. And we are pleased to welcome Mr. Dylan Bartley. And Mr. Dylan Bartley is the Secretary General of JCI Dominica. And he's also the General Manager of Saiph, I guess you'll correct us, software. So Mr. Dylan Bartley, you can come on and please give us a little bit more about yourself, especially the name of your software company.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. So I extend warm greetings to all the dignitaries and esteemed guests, as well as our watchers and the media. I would like to share my screen. Okay, there we go. Lovely. Okay, great. Okay, so the name of my software company is Saiph Software. I get that question a lot. I actually like it. It's the name of a star, and it's also synonymous with the word safe for security. So we use that word to capture the concept of providing a bright future as well as security in our software systems. Currently, I'm also the DevOps manager at Clear Harbor Dominica branch. Without wasting more time, I'll get into my presentation for getting future ready with skills for the AI era. So I'd like to ask a few questions just to gauge the room and use some reactions or emojis in the chat. But since we have a small conjugation, I'm just going to go through the questions so you can think of it in your mind while we go to the presentation. So the first question is, who here uses ChatGPT, Snapchat filters, CapCut, Midjourney, or voice assistants like Siri or Alexa? And these are the responses. Who feels like the AI tech is moving too fast to keep up sometimes? Options you can see. Who is familiar with the concepts of model, agents, and RAG? And the answers you can see. Okay, so just to give a brief, I started off as a support technician. I moved up to senior technician, software developer. I became an IT manager in one of the other island branches, St. Vincent. Came back to Dominica, I became the DevOps manager. My opportunities, I believe, were driven primarily by my curiosity and willingness to get involved and learn new things. The senior guys can tell you I'll always bother them to know what are you up to? What are you doing? Can you show me how to do this? How do you configure this server, this system? What is the software you're using? So always be willing to be curious, be engaged, be proactive in learning. The advantage the youth mind has, which is neuroplasticity and cognitive flexibility, among other things. And if you don't know what those words are, then you have some homework to look them up. That's an advantage of the youth mind now, and you should definitely use it. I'm in my 30s now. I've already started plucking gray hairs, and I can already feel the difference in how fast my brain is able to process new information. So you have a significant advantage in your youth, and you definitely want to make sure you use that edge to build experience now. Okay, the pace of AI and why you need to jump in now. Now, AI, the revolution is not coming, it's already here. AI and artificial intelligence and machine learning conversations have transitioned from high-level concepts like neural networks, branching, algorithms for training data, applications like TensorFlow. That has all been, there still exists. So if you're interested in them, you can definitely look into it. But the conventional transition more to everyday tools like ChatGPT, DALL-E, Midjourney. You're seeing, just a couple of years, you have seen these niche tools become almost synonymous to daily life. You have ChatGPT writing stories, solving problems, providing information. Midjourney and DALL-E creating art. We have video editing tools, we have song editing tools, and we're seeing AI being used in all aspects of life, from business, education, music design, and gaming. So I remember when I just started hearing about the AI industry and hearing about these high-level concepts, and it was, even for me in the field for many years, it was difficult to really grasp what was going on. And I think that kind of hindered me into getting into the field earlier. But now, again, if you are interested in these higher level concepts like training and creating models, you can still do that. But most of the AI field right now is become through the end user tools. And that's where the real proficiency in leveraging these tools come into play. Okay, so with new technologies also bring new opportunities. So for example, the prompt engineer job title did not exist before. So this is someone that specializes in talking to AI effectively, knowing what to say and how to say it to get the best results. Because I'm sure like you, like me, have asked ChatGPT questions or requested information and got anything from not really helpful to complete nonsense. So being able to craft the context, provide clear instructions, and give good feedback to AI models, all AI models, is what's going to help you get the best results out. And people who have these skills and know how to use these models and tools are going to position themselves best to leverage the new opportunities coming in the future, already here and coming in the future. So AI proficiency is becoming a basic skill, as I said, just like Excel or email. I'm sure if you walk around today, someone in your age group is saying they don't use ChatGPT, it's going to sound strange. Okay, how AI is supercharging study and work. So there are many ways that AI can benefit all aspects of business and personal life. Two I want to focus on right here is RAG, which stands for retrieval augmented generation. I had a bit of a brain fart there. So this combines the power of AI with accessing your own knowledge base. You feed your AI your school notes, company files, and it gives you accurate, personalized information that you request. It's like building a personal system that actually knows the content. I'm sure the problem a lot of us have had with ChatGPT sometimes it hallucinates. It gives you just made up information. And that's because it just works on such a vast amount of data that sometimes it can't really filter out what's really relevant to you. But with RAG, when you're tuning a model for specific information relevant to you, for example, your schoolwork or your business, that can really help really give you more clean contextual information and answers to questions you may ask. So for example, as a student, you can make custom study guides, practice questions, or summarizations for your material. In business, you can pull insights on reports, help with faster and smarter decision making. So, and you'll see it a lot if you look at the job market today, I believe, you're seeing a lot more focus on analysts, people who can leverage the information that's being processed by the AI models to make business decisions. Agent automation is another big aspect of it. So you already seen that where people are now leveraging AI to perform more menial tasks, the more repetitive menial tasks. That's a big benefit for efficiency for you. And some people will have the fear, understandably, will have the fear of this taken away from their job. That fear exists, and that reality also does exist to some extent. But what you really should be focusing on is now that this tool exists, and again, it's a tool like any other tool. Now that the tool exists, how can I leverage it to make my work more efficient, make myself more valuable? So these aren't futuristic ideas. They are being used right now, and they can give you an edge. And it's essential that you start working on them now to build a better future for yourself. Okay, getting your feet wet. So I did not have any formal training in pretty much any of the IT fields I currently work in, funny enough. I was mostly self-taught. I'm going to mention much of what I use to get to where I am today. There are definitely other opportunities. I'm not knocking, definitely not knocking universities. I honestly would have considered going back to university and getting a degree. But for now, this is what I've used on my career so far, and I still use today to learn new things. So YouTube is my best friend. It can be yours too. I don't normally watch videos to get basic information or concept explanations and short tutorials. One tip I would give is to try to look at different instructions, look at multiple videos on the same topic, because you might connect more with information coming from one person, the way they present it or the way they cover it. It's always good to have different perspectives on the same topic. Online courses from platforms like Udemy and Coursera, these are sometimes relatively cheap. I definitely have paid for courses, and they have been very beneficial to me, at least. Use tools and play with features. This is probably, out of all of this is probably the most important. You learn by doing, and you're never going to get familiar with all of these concepts if you don't actually put into practice. There have been many times when someone asks me if I can do something, and I've answered, well, I've never done it before, but let me poke around, let me see what I can figure out. And generally it works out. Sometimes it's easier than I expected, sometimes it's a lot harder than I expected, but generally you learn so much, and you learn so much more than what you were originally expecting to achieve. Just a tip, always save a copy of whatever you're working on, just in case you break something, you can read it. That happens to me a lot, and it's a problem. Peer learning. So this is also very important. You want to be able to share your experience with others, both in person and online. You learn through each other, you share information, and you can bounce ideas off each other and get new perspectives. So lastly, make something. It doesn't matter what it is, just that. Every project you perform, whether you succeed or fail, it adds confidence and adds experience. And you never not have something you want to make better. Even right now, I'm sure some of you have some things about Zoom you don't like. So there's always something you can change, always something you can make better, always something you can make new. So just start. Okay, so I've listed out a few concepts that you may want to look into. Right now, it is definitely not an exhaustive list. Wherever your interest takes you, you should follow it, go down the rabbit hole. But these are just some concepts I think that are coming up right now that will make your life better and position you better for the future. So agentic AI, this is what I referred to before, but I'm using AI models to perform more complex tasks. RAG, retrieval augmented generation, LangChain and LangGraph. These are tools used for coordinating AI agents to perform a variety of tasks. N8N and Make.com, these are both automation platforms as well, but they're more online based, although end-to-end can be run locally. Something I always do when I'm tackling a new subject or a new industry or anything like that is I always start the questions, like, especially if I'm not sure I want to go, and this is one I often use and you can use it as well. I want to do X. I want to create an application that does this. I want to automate this workflow in my workplace. I want to prepare study material based on this content with AI. What are my options? Where do I get started? You can drop this ChatGPT, and it will give you probably a lot of options, and they're probably all valid. You just pick one and start going down the rabbit hole. Okay, so one more question that I have for the group.
Recording in progress.
Who thinks that this presentation was AI generated? You can drop your reaction if it's definitely AI or it's not AI at all. Confession, yes.
Recording stopped.
Kind of. If you answered no, I'm going to assume that is because it was pretty personalized to myself, and I was very familiar with the content. That can be done. Again, like I said, you have to give the model context. So I give the context of my information, my work, my life story, and it's up to craft things accordingly. And again, I give it feedback. I give it clear instructions, what I want to achieve, feedback. I don't like how this is worded, change this, move this over here, add a section here, remove this section, I don't like it. So all of these are ways you can take work and really fine tune it so it really becomes your own, even if it's technically generated by AI. It's a tool to make your life easier. And if I can go on a tangent for just a little bit, I do kind of feel I'm sorry for teachers right now, because I personally have had people submit things to me that is AI generated, but clearly nonsensical. It comes back to the golden rule. If do unto others as you like them to do unto you, if you're going to ask someone to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes of their life reading your content and even grading you for it, the least you could do is spend that same time to read it yourself and make sure it's actually coherent. So please, students, workers, review your work before you submit it. Thank you. Thank you for listening. AI is no longer the future, it's the new normal. The sooner you get started, the better. And you don't need any permission to start, you just need your own curiosity. So use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bartley. And that was indeed an empowering look at the digital opportunities for young people, everyone, in terms of the use and how we can utilize safely the AI in our everyday life. And I love when he made that statement, just start. Make something, just start. You never know where it can take you. So thank you, Mr. Bartley, and we will save the questions for after all the presentations. So we'll move on to our next speaker. And our next speaker is Mr. Charles Grant. And Mr. Grant is the IT manager at Jolly's Pharmacy. And he's a cybersecurity professional and CEO of QC Grant Limited.
Hi. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
All right, cool. All right. So, good afternoon to everybody, media, and all the folks who are tuned in so far, and those that are going to make their way. Today, we're dealing with youth empowerment through AI and digital skills. Um, Dylan, I think before kind of covered most of everything that's going on. I think if we both use AI to do presentations today, we would probably have very similar presentations, and that's kind of the one of the points in AI. If you always using AI, you and somebody doing exactly the same thing probably going to end up with the same work. But let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so today many of you have used AI today, as my colleague that just finished his presentation said. But did you ever imagine that TikTok, the way you scroll, the maps, talking to Siri, all of these are basically AI, and it's already a part of our lives. The predictive text that you get in your email when you're typing, all of this information. So anyway, today I'm going to dive in a little bit into my journey and how you can leverage some of the tools that are available to you today to build really successful careers. So again, my name is Charles Grant. I'm a cybersecurity professional, IT manager, um, and I did not take the traditional route in training. I basically started with the CompTIA Network Plus and the CompTIA A Plus. I did not have a degree at first. I just recently completed one. Um, and that's basically how I got into it. Basically, hands-on, getting the skills I needed to basically complete the task or to get new jobs or use the skills that I have learned to get new jobs. Now, there's always been a debate of as whether in IT the university route or the um, certification route, as I call it, is the which is better. I went to the certification route because obviously I believe that path is better. By the time the coursework for most bachelor's degree has been completed, that technology is probably outdated. However, university has value. It teaches you networking, it teaches you research, and it does teach you a lot of other life skills. Now, in order to move on from that, I started a small company, and that gave me the skills of being able to go do pitches in front of persons and stuff like that. I actually went through the youth division program for small business way back in the day, um, just to be able to open a business. So again, these are some of the certifications I hold. I also have a master's degree in cybersecurity and digital forensics. Um, Cybersecurity is a key cornerstone right now of AI because so much data is going into AI, um, and we put a lot of stuff into there, um, and we kind of have to figure out how exactly we're going to continue to do that in the future because AI doesn't forget, and you put everything in there. At some point, a company will come back and start selling you technically your own information, just that you won't know it because it will be masked, or it will be your favorite products that are just so too irresistible, or it knows about you in a way that it can leverage all sorts of services back at you. All right, so this is a very interesting picture from the 1913 or the 1900s. um, on one side, you have the horse and buggy, which is in the 1900s of the New York City. There is one car, if you probably can see it, it's circled um, in red. There's just one automobile. Everybody else has a horse and buggy. 13 years later, it's all automobile, and there is one horse and buggy just making its way down the street. Now, this transformation is for the during the automobile industry era. Today, it's the AI era. However, AI has sort of accelerated a lot of different things in our lives. And the acceleration is not going to be 13 years, as you have already seen. It's not coming, it is here. And it is changing rapidly. So it will not take 13 years before almost everything that we do involves some type of AI. So just remember this picture, and know that the AI revolution, innovation, all of it is happening right now. So you have to kind of think of how you're going to position yourself to sort of take advantage of that. So why does all of this matter? The world is changing fast. Automation, AI, remote work. 75% of the jobs now need some level of digital skills. So no longer you're an accountant and you just know account. No longer that you're even a doctor and you hardly touch a computer. Um, all of these different careers are intersecting with computing and AI. The Caribbean can't afford to be left behind. Now, just simple explanation as to what AI is. AI is when machines can think, learn, or solve problem for us. We have ChatGPT, basically a chatbot, Midjourney for art, Google Lens basically uses a camera to tell you what's in your environment. Now, AI isn't replacing you. Someone who knows how to use AI might. So you will not be replaced, but the guy that's leveraging AI in your office space, even in your school, he will probably be in front of you. Digital skills today is your superpower. Free basic skills that you can learn today, and you don't have to go to any course. You don't. There's no money wall. You don't have to pay for it, so there's no paywall. And those are just documents, Word document, spreadsheets, email. You learn for just these free basic skills, and you are basically on your way to learn other skills and leverage other skills. Some intermediate skills are coding, graphics design, social media marketing. Some advanced skills would be AI, data science, and obviously cybersecurity, which is critical to all of these new innovations. So, Caribbean youth, the opportunity is for you. You don't have to leave Dominica to basically offer services to the global world. There are a few platforms already, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more. Upwork, Fiverr, Total, um, startups, agriculture tech, fintech, health tech. Dominica can build tech talent, not just consume it, because the push for AI right now is we're going to either be consumers or we're going to be producers, and that's for the entire region. If we are not producing, it means that we are consuming. And the side that we want to be on is on the producing side in the region. We have to produce so that other persons across the world are consuming our content and the things that we are building, and not we basically continuing to consume whatever they're giving us, because it's not in our own image and in our own likeness. It is other people's idea and other people's vision as far as what things and what tech should be. But we can build it now. Now, no longer do you need $40 million, um, 40 of the best devs in the world, and a lovely office in Silicon Valley. With AI today, you can build just about anything. I think I came across an article the other day that said there was a forest ranger in America. They did a AI course, and he developed a little program that basically would help them make changes, because whenever they had to make changes in any one of the parks, they would have to fill out a ton of forms, and it'd probably take him like half a day to basically fill out the forms to make a small change. Um, he built this little app after he did a AI course. He's not a programmer. He doesn't have no coding skill, nothing. But he knows what his job entails. And he went to Replit, and he basically built the app to basically do the job for him. He told Replit, which is basically an AI that builds sites, um, build this out for me. He tweaked it, got it to work. And when his other departments, I think it's about 400 packs and about 7,000 rangers, when they saw the app, they all started using it. And I think that would save the pack almost like 7,000 hours of human interaction with a foreman just sitting in an office doing nothing. They could actually be out in the field doing probably what they love instead of just sitting down and handling paperwork. So AI is saving companies and even individuals a ton of time, as far as how long it takes them to do the task. Now, real world AI use in Dominica. We have health, automating patients notification. So if you have a visit at the clinic, in the hospitals, the hospital, you don't have to, um, so you get a ping, a text on your phone saying, hey, a reminder, you're supposed to be at the um, your local health center today for a visit, whether it's baby vaccines or just a general checkup for your um, non-communicable diseases or any ailment that you might have. Even government chatbot for the citizenry. I want to find out what is my current balance for my license for my vehicle. I want to find out when it's expiring. I probably put in my vehicle number and it probably pulls up that information for me, and things like that. Youth projects, AI for climate monitoring and education tools. The best thing students can do for AI is um, leverage it to teach them in the way that they learn and in the way that they want to be engaged. If you ever need to learn something that you trust struggling with, just tell any one of the common AIs to teach you this topic as a, if you're 15, tell it teach it to you as a 10-year-old. Or even if you're 18, tell it teach it to you as a 12-year-old, so that it sort of breaks down the concept simpler for you. And you can keep doing that until you get it, or keep telling it to give you another idea or ask it to explain a little more to really get the concept. So there's no difficult concepts that probably you cannot get a lot of help with. You just have to spend the time with it. Now, with AI and all the jobs and such that AI is taking up, what it seems like one of the skills that you probably need to have in the future, besides the digital skills, is just human interaction and being able to walk into a room and scope out the room and figure out, okay, who is the manager, who's probably the important person that you need to pitch your idea to, and be able to have a conversation and express yourself. So people skills is probably going to be very valuable in the future, seeing that AI is sort of taking up a lot of the normal everyday tasks for us. But you being able to sell your product and speak to a room and make your pitch, those things will be very important in the future. um, some free AI platforms are Google Digital Garage, the CS50 by Harvard, TryHackMe for cybersecurity, and all of these platforms are now starting to leverage AI. Obviously, Coursera and obviously YouTube, the university of everything and anything that you need to learn, it's all on there. Even my path as using this cybersecurity and using certifications as my path. Today, companies hire you just because you have the skill. Company no longer look at a degree, they no longer look at even your certifications. Once you can prove to a company that you have the skills, you can build this app, you can enter all of this data and provide analysis for this data, you're probably hired because you have the skills that they're looking for, and that's what companies are looking for today. All right. Now, one of the things most people don't realize about AI is an open source tool. One of them a big fan of open source. Open source just mean that you can leverage it. It's free. You can use it for just about everything that you have. So this is actually a local AI machine that we actually built. For those that are into gaming, you'd see the amount of graphics cards that is on the machine, and I think this is the pre-build. We actually have a lot more graphics cards today on it. So AI is actually just You can download it. It's open source, and most of the models are open source. DeepSeek is open source. Olama from Facebook is open source. You can download it locally, disconnect the internet from it, and still have all the answers because you actually downloaded the entire model. Models are usually like 50 gigs for those that understand storage, or 20 gig, or there's some small models that are actually 3 gigs. Obviously, the 3 gig model is not going to be as smart as the 70 gig model, but just to show that because AI is open source, this is what it is sort of given to the world, that every and anybody can have these tools. So we in the Caribbean, we in Dominica can leverage AI and have it do stuff for us just here locally. We don't have to use Chat GPT. We don't have to use DeepSeek. We don't have to use any of them. We could actually build out our own models and integrate it into businesses, the government, all of that. And the cool thing is now your data is now local. Your data is not in the cloud somewhere. I saw none of us has ever read the long terms of service that Chat GPT, DeepSeek, or any one of the AI models have. So this is also an interesting use case for us locally in the Caribbean, that AI is open source. We can build it out ourselves and use all of the new features that are coming out because all of it is open source. All right. So just my final note, I could probably just show you a quick demo of this AI server once I'm done. So just final thought, they don't wait for opportunity, build it. With AI and digital skills, the playing field is finally leveling. The question is, what will you create? So no longer you have to be in the States, no longer you have to be in Silicon Valley. You can build just about everything here. Now, usually demos don't work out well for presentations. I'm gonna try to do a quick demo as far as what this model can do. So let me just share my screen, different screen. All right, so this is a model. As you see, it looks just like ChatGPT. This is open source too. It's called Open Web UI. So you can basically download this and run it yourself. You would need some graphics memory because AI runs on graphics memory. So you would need some type of graphics memory. So let's say write a presentation on AI skills in the Caribbean. And there you go. And this is all local. This is not ChatGPT. This is not bots or anything. It's actually using Gemini, which is an open source model. And there are tons of other models that you could actually download and leverage and stuff like that for doing images and all of that. So this is really, really an interesting time for us in the region, locally, because you could build the next big billion-dollar idea just from your living room, which is really incredible in IT today. So let's start building, let's start creating, let's skill up yourselves and see what happens from there. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. And I really like the approach that you took. As a matter of fact, you gave a name of I think it's Replit. I took it down and I would be using it to see if I can build some software. Because I have a lot of ideas, lots of ideas. All those who know me, I just have ideas flowing. So maybe I can make that billion-dollar app. So I really like the approach that you took in showing the acceleration of AI and the AI revolution and how one can position themselves in such a revolution. As young persons, I hope that we can ask that question. How do we get ourselves into that revolution? And I like when you said you don't have to leave Dominica to make that impact. And AI can help you right here, where you can produce your content, your ideas, your vision that the world can buy. So thank you, Mr. Grant. So right now, we're going to move along to our final speaker, I believe, because I have not seen our third speaker. So we'll go to Ms. Merkwan Pacquette. And our energetic Ms. Merkwan Pacquette is the computer literacy instructor at the Youth Development Division. So Merkwan, you can go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Everybody can hear me clearly, right? And see me clearly. Apologies, my virtual background has been giving me some issues. But good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. Representing the Youth Development Division, I am Merkwan Pacquette from the community of Grand Bay, and I serve as a computer literacy instructor on the skills training team at YTD. A little bit about myself. I am a passionate and experienced digital literacy skills instructor with 18 years of expertise in teaching diverse groups across various skill levels, promoting an inclusive environment. I'm a certified assessor and verifier in technical and vocational education and training, coupled with the proficiency of inclusive teaching, learning, and training certifications. In addition, I have experience as a youth officer, which demonstrates my ability to continue to engage and support our young people. I'm also a proud mother of 4. Mothering has strengthened my organizational skills, my multitasking, and my empathetic skills. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I'm not sharing a presentation. I'd just like to share with you all. So in my role, I take my role very, very seriously at the Youth Development Division, and I see firsthand the incredible potential within our youth and how crucial having digital skills can unlock that potential. I am nurturing the minds of our future IT technicians and software developers. So the future Mr. Grants and the future Mr. Bartleys, that's who I'm catering for, and these are the people that I am nurturing. We are living in an increasingly digital world, and the ability to navigate it effectively it isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. So from basic computer operations to understanding online safety, these skills are the foundation for success in almost every field. So the use of digital skills is right now in every field. A farmer will use digital skills in his daily tasks. So today's theme of youth empowerment through artificial intelligence, AI, and digital skills perfectly aligns in the direction that we need to be heading at Youth Development Division. So AI is often seen as a complex concept for some. It's rapidly becoming an accessible tool for everyone. So almost everybody has encountered using artificial intelligence in one way or the other, as Mr. Bartley and Mr. Grant has mentioned. Maybe if you use Alexa before or Siri, then you have been using AI. So for our young people, basically, understanding the basics of AI isn't about becoming a programmer overnight, but we want them to recognize how AI can help them automate tasks, analyze data, and have them be able to leverage these tools to become more efficient and innovative in whatever path that they choose. However, with that power comes great responsibility. So a key part of our focus at Youth Development Division is to guide our youth and adults, anyone within our classroom, in using the AI tools responsibly and efficiently. This includes us understanding or allowing them to understand how to avoid simple things like plagiarism, how to avoid or mitigating against hallucinations, the AI hallucinations. I think Mr. Bartley mentioned that, where the AI generates false or nonsensical information, and learning the importance of appropriate citations in professional documents. So if they're doing school projects, how they can cite the information properly, knowing that they use AI to generate some of the content. So we want to ensure that as we embrace AI, we do so with integrity. So one of the key aspects of our work at Youth Development Division is to ensure that the opportunities are accessible to everyone, that facilitation caters to the needs of our trainees at their individual levels. So we cater for those who may have no experience with AI or even experience with using a computer. So we have built their confidence there. So we are also committed to providing local training opportunities and accessible local training opportunities at that, such as our 6 weeks program that is running now, or 6 weeks summer digital literacy program, which caters to preteens and teens, and we're running this in the community of Granby. And the key learning areas or calling areas, we introduce them to concepts, so they'll learn the different terms. What is an algorithm? What is programming? Even simple terms as what is digital literacy? We have them learn how to use the computers, be able to organize their files, manage their files. They're exposed to word processing, spreadsheet development, presentations, graphic designing. You expose them to different tools, how to use these tools, these AI-related tools, effectively and responsibly. So it's not just copy and paste from ChatGPT. When you do your prompt, you need to be able to refine it. You need to be able to put it in your own words, and you need to be able to structure it or place it in if you're doing a Word document, let's say you're doing a personal profile, you want a little bio of yourself, you need to be able to use ChatGPT, yes, to generate something that you can use, but in your own words so that it becomes more relatable to you. So you'd have to change that. So we cover introduction to basic coding. We allow them to send and receive emails, and they learn how they can automate emails, internet safety, and we expose them to cyber security. So another area that we have at Youth Division, we are also doing secondary schools digital workshops. So that is one of the workshops that have been implemented recently, where we get to work and engage with the students at the secondary school level, and they are exposed to the digital skills that they need at the point at which they are. So if, for example, they may be doing an SBA or they're doing a publication, then we'll be able to provide them with the skills that they need at the time they need it and have them perfect it as time goes by. So, and we also offer our flagship computer literacy course, which runs for 4 months, and this grooms young adults as well as adults, increasing their employability skills and to encourage the use of digital skills, and also among seniors as well. So our core learning areas within our 4 months course allows them to follow the same pattern as our summer digital literacy course. But we cover, in addition, QuickBooks Pro, and we expose them to using AI tools as well, responsibly. So our programs are designed to build your confidence and your competence, beginning from the novice level. So Mr. Grant mentioned leveraging AI tools to build solutions and have the solutions cater to our local infrastructure in Dominica, and I just love that idea. And that one spoke to me. So that is what I'm going to work towards, because I know that working with the young people, some of you, I don't know if Mr. Bartley or Mr. Grant has passed through any of the Youth Division's digital literacy programs, maybe when they were very young, but I've had speakers, a part of our summer day camp, who have experienced our digital literacy programs, and they are very impressed with the delivery of the content, the delivery of the classes now, and the inclusion of artificial intelligence tools, and they are very impressed with what was done before and what is happening now. They are just lost for words with that. So I encourage you all to listen, the listening public. I encourage you to listen out on our Youth Vice program with Youth Division, especially the young people. I want you to stay actively engaged with us at Youth Division. We want you to explore the training opportunities that are available, and we want you to continue developing your digital and AI literacy skills. Thank you so much for having me, and good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Pacquette, and thank you for reminding us that digital literacy is indeed essential for work and our daily lives. And as a trainer working directly with our youth participants at the Youth Development Division, your perspective is especially valuable, helping to bridge that gap between everyday technology use and meaningful skill, and building that door that can open to employment, to education, to personal growth. And you as a trainer ensuring that our young people not only use the technology, but basically they are understanding it, leveraging it, and positioning themselves for the opportunities in an increasing digital world. So thank you very much, Ms. Pacquette. And I see our final speaker is on now. So we will invite Mr. Manuel Olmos to come on. He's the communication specialist with IsraAid Dominica.
Okay. Can you see me and hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good night, everyone. Let me just address the people present in the room. So good night to Miss Merita Hyacinth, Chief Youth Development Officer, Miss Carrie Ann Remy, Job Developer, Youth Skills Training Program, the panelists, youth officers and staff of the DYBT, and the members of the public and the media. Okay, so just to give you a quick introduction, my name is Manuel Olmos. I work with IsraAid Dominica as a communication specialist. I am also a small business owner. I've been working in this field for the past almost 7 years, and AI and digital skills have basically changed everything from the time I started to now. So in this day, we live in a different time. So once again, it's a privilege to be a part of this national conversation. We're living in an exciting time where the tools for transformation like AI and digital skills are right at our fingertips. So just to give you a little bit about IsraAid, IsraAid Dominica is a humanitarian, non-governmental organization that arrived in Dominica after the passage of Hurricane Maria. And through the years, we have stayed committed to strengthening community resilience across the region. We support emergency response, education, psychosocial support, which is PSS, and long-term recovery. Amongst that is our flagship initiative, which is Work Online Dominica. So this program focuses on equipping young people with the digital skills needed to succeed in the online job market. This work is a part of a broader mission to empower youth not just to survive, but to also thrive and become resilient. As you know, work online, the work is just no longer physical. Everything is becoming digital. So also work can be found online. And our program, dives into that. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background as to what you can learn about in the program. I may repeat certain things that some of my fellow panelists have said before, but just let me know if there's anything that, okay? So one of the first things is that in the Caribbean, we are in a very unique position to take advantage of this digital shift. We can work remotely for anyone in the world, from our homes or communities, even from our phones. So you could be in the park, you could be working online, and your boss wouldn't really know, and it wouldn't really matter to them. It's just as long as you get the job done. We can learn most of mostly any type of skill online from anywhere. So you don't really have to sit down in a classroom. At this point, you can just use your computer, use your phone. When you're taking a break during work, you can just find a course and get it done. A lot of these courses, they don't necessarily have to be paid for. YouTube is a free, amazing learning tool. So let me get a little bit into AI. So AI is making our work easier and faster. If you use it well, it becomes a force multiplier. I'm sure a lot of the fellow panelists mentioned that. So this is allowing us to hand off tasks that we don't like, or that we can, we get to focus on what we truly love doing. And we can hand off tedious tasks to our AI. Okay. We can also develop our digital careers or find alternative sources of income. So as I said, working online you can have your main job, your local job, and then in the night you can come home and hustle. Don't have a side hustle. Okay. So another thing, as I said, your device, your handheld device is now your classroom, your office, your creative studio, and even your bank. So your phone has a lot of power, your laptop has a lot of power. You can basically get everything done on there. And one last thing, even on social media, it can be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. With this digital presence, you can also make money. Your skills, your stories, your creativity, all of it has value online. So let's talk about how are some ways that we can take advantage of this moment. And I'm just giving you a little bit of an insight as to how it is in work online, the kind of tools we provide people in work online. So some other places where you can find work online is websites like Upwork and Fiverr. So in these websites, you have to make your account. You have to also, well, right now there are different ways where you can do it. You can provide your services. So on Fiverr, you just set up your services, what services you want to provide for individuals. And then after that, they come to you. But Upwork is more hands-on. It has that aspect as well, which is individuals come to you, but you can also go to individuals. You can apply for jobs. You can apply to work in different companies. Okay, so there is also, you can market yourself online through LinkedIn. I'm sure some of you are familiar with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is like a social media, but for professionals. There's also Flickr. So if you're creative and you're into photography, you like to take out pictures and you want to develop your creative photography portfolio, Flickr is the standard website where you'd go and upload all your pictures that you'd like people to see and to realize that this is your kind of work. This is what you're putting on. And then we have Behance. Behance is more for graphic designers, creatives that use Photoshop, Illustrator, that create different graphics, if it's from logos, illustrations, all those sort of things. And then we have also in Dominica is a very, very interesting place because our main source of social media is Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So you don't really shy away from these. You try to embrace them as well. So to showcase your portfolio, your brand, and your services, you can use all of these platforms. Okay. And when it comes to your digital tools, I'm sure this fellow panelist said about ChatGPT and Gemini that can help you write better, plan faster, and get more done with way less stress. Okay. And we also have some platforms that you can use to develop basically an online store, which is Gumroad. Gumroad, as I said, about creatives. Gumroad is more for like people trying to develop templates, resources that other professionals may want to use, which is, it could range from creative to an Excel sheet, those sort of things. Then we have Shopify. Shopify ranges from all kind of products that you can sell. And then we have Patreon. Patreon you can use to sell your ebooks and all sort of things. You can also sell extra content. If you have your Facebook page, you created some kind of information. From that, you can redirect people to your Patreon where they can pay money to learn more of how essentially you get the work done. So it's like behind the scenes. People get to pay to see your behind the scenes work. Okay. And then we also have ways you can build your skills on platforms. So some of the platforms that you can use to build your skills is Coursera, Allison, Udemy, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning, Domestika. And these platforms really help you stay ahead of the competition because the online marketplace is really competitive. There are people all over the world, from the Philippines, from China, India, Bangladesh. These people are all competing against you to find work online. But we have the upper hand when it comes to the language. We don't have that language barrier and we are closer to home. We can relate more to an American employer than a person from Bangladesh or a person from the Philippines. So it is our time now to act. Yeah. So these are some of the things that you can learn in our Work Online Dominica program. We have trained about over 300, maybe 400 individuals. Right now we're on the 6th cohort. So we have been doing this for 6 years. And this program is, it's not difficult, but you have to change your mindset. You have to believe that you can do it, that you can find work online. You have to believe that you are bigger than what you see. Okay. And a lot of people have made it. There are a lot of participants that you can meet, and you can go on our Facebook page and find out that have made it. They work online. Some of them work online full-time. Some of them work online part-time. I've met, like, for me, I also, I work there, so I had to kind of see if the program works. I was able to find a job in Australia, and I did probably for like a two-day project, and then I got 300 US to just learn. So first of all, I had to learn how to use MailChimp, and MailChimp is like a email marketing tool. MailChimp is free. So I used a free platform to do work, and I gained 300 US in 2 days. So this opportunity is essential that we take it up and that we can, do something from it, especially now because, a lot of the youth nowadays, we are more connected with the internet. So this is very important. And just to wrap up some of the things and for you to keep in mind, whatever you do when it comes to the online space, start small and stay consistent. Growth is a journey and it is not a race. It is a continuous learning process. So don't be discouraged when you see somebody doing something that is better than you, because you are on your own journey, you are on your own path, and whatever it is that you're doing, it is for you, and you need to have that kind of strength to keep yourself. Okay. You also need to protect your digital identity. So as I told you about all these platforms, there are also a lot of scams, phishing, and they also try to, harness your private data. Also try to be ethical. We had our other colleague, Merkwan, I think it's her name, speaking about the use of AI responsibly. Always credit your sources and always tell the truth. Nowadays, with AI deepfakes and AI videos, we are seeing a lot of lies. So we need to be very careful. We need to be able to tell apart from what's real and what's not real. Okay. And you also need to be able to apply your critical thinking skills. What you get from AI or Google isn't always accurate. One of the first platforms that these AI companies use to basically teach the AI on what to answer, it was Reddit, and Reddit is a platform of communities. So you have to be very careful of what you take from the AI. Always cross-check if what you're getting is true, okay? Because it does the work, it doesn't mean that you just have to be hands-off. No, you have to be very much hands-on and stay there. Cannot trust it for everything, okay? And just stay curious. We have a lot of skills to develop. Don't think because you're doing AI or you're doing coding that you cannot get into graphic design or photography or animation. These all work together. And once you have a good portfolio, a good how would you say, a catalog of services, you can do a lot of good things and be very, very flexible. Also be patient, building the career and learning new skills takes time. So you have to trust the process. Okay. And one of the last things is, you have to support each other. Dominica is very small. Everybody's knows everybody in Dominica. So if you know a friend and he has this very good skill and you think his skill can be transferred online, let them know about these things that you've learned about today and build a positive community around this sharing these things. So your tools, your skills, these platforms. So if you want to learn anything else, or about work online or about IsraAid Dominica, you can follow us on Dominica IsraAid and Work Online Dominica. Okay. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Okay. So yeah, this is it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Olmos, for that presentation and how AI intersects with the human connection. Your emphasis on the Work Online Dominica initiative, the use of digital tools to market yourself and the value of creating meaningful content really with hope to me. You reminded us that with the right online platform skills, young people can really position themselves globally and to earn income remotely and become, we heard that theme, all through the night, become creators, not just consumers in this digital economy. So not basically just to gain skills, but to become globally competitive and digitally independent. And the financial benefits into this evolving workforce. I mean, you said 300 US in 2 days. That's amazing. I also love your reminder about the ethical use of these tools. And it serves as a strong call to our young people that it's not just to be skilled, but be responsible digital citizens using the technology ethically and positively. So right about now, we heard from our speakers, our four great speakers this evening, and what I'm going to do is to open the floor for any questions. I have a few of my own, but I would love to hear from those who are on. I'll follow those if they are online. But if we have any questions from the Zoom participants, and you can take them now. What I would like you to do is to use your raise hand icon, and I will recognize you and give you the permission to speak and give your remarks also and ask your questions to our panelists. So the floor is open now for any questions. Okay, so whilst we wait for the question, I have one question I would like to open the batting with Merkwan. And Merkwan, I have a question. What inspired you in your journey in your current field? And really, how has digital skills and AI play a role in your development?
Excuse me, sorry, who was this question directed to?
This is for Merkwan.
Okay, thanks.
While we're waiting for Merkwan, I'd like to ask a question, please.
Okay, yes, you can go ahead.
I want to ask the gentleman on the call. We spoke about AI and all they can fake you and all these things. How do we safeguard? What are some of the methodologies that we can practice in terms of safeguarding ourselves from the flaws and the fakes and the not real that can be information that can be shared with us from AI?
Okay, Dylan.
Okay, hi. That is a very good question, I think that we struggle with all the time. So dealing with fake information by AI is similar to dealing with fake information from a human. One, you want to try to ask AI to give me your sources. Tell me where you got this from. Validate the information that you're providing to me. There have been other times when I will ask about, especially in terms of information about someone, some figure, and they give me a quote from this person. And I say, give me the information or the source where you found this quote, and then it literally tells me, oh, I apologize, this source, this quote didn't actually exist. So definitely ask it to give it your sources, showing where you got the information is from. Another thing is to validate against your own sources, to try other sources. So for example, if you're asking it about information regarding some taking care of some plants you have in your house, and you say, how do I take care of this plant? Do you take it from ChatGPT? You throw it into Google, see if Google gives you the same answers, throw it to the Gemini, see if it gives you the same answers. So you want to compare this thing from different sources to see what actually is true, actually makes sense. And again, ask for sources. Show me the forum post, show me the video, show me the document, show me the study from the actual scientists who performed these on their papers.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other panelists would like to tackle this question? Manuel, yes.
Yeah, so I think we also need to look at not just looking at AI tools, but also how we can, when we look at news, when we look at the social media, these are also places where we can be tricked by AI. So when you look at the news, you need to look at the comments. When you look at the comments, if you see the comments, they're not too sure, you go on Google for yourself. You go on Google, you find out, you look for what it is that the news was, and you look for actual sources that you're familiar with. So let's say if it's news and it's something, let's just talk about Dominica. Let's say it's something that happened in Dominica, you go to MO News because you know MO will post something that's real. You go to DBS because you know DBS will post something that's real. You go to Dominica News Online because you know they will post something that's real. So I think we not only need to look out for what the AI tools give us, but also what we are being fed on social media. So that is something that we also need to look out for. And no, let me just add one last thing. And as I said, now it's even worse with videos because now it's not just pictures, but there are also AI videos that are fake. Okay, so we have to be very careful with AI videos. You look out for physics. There are a lot of problems with physics. So, for example, you may see somebody walking backwards. Don't think it's Sukuya. It's a fake person. Okay, so just be careful. Also, look at their fingers. Nowadays, their fingers are more they're better formed, but they are still a telltale sign. So just be careful.
Thank you. Okay.
Just add a,
Yes, Charles?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, no problem. Can we just add a quick? Okay, so one of the other things that is also the voice over, where you can make it sound like somebody, especially a lot of us using WhatsApp. And when the person in WhatsApp gets compromised, usually you get a call or a message. A message is what I've seen, asking for money. That hey, send me some money. It's coming from your friend and stuff like that. But what we have seen in some really complex hacks is they actually mimicking the voices of the person that you're supposed to be dealing with over the phone. Now that is very difficult to combat, because there's nothing cybersecurity wise that I can tell you to install on your phone that would prevent that from happening. But again, for instance, for when I do a cybersecurity training for accounts people, you have to build relationships. We deal with a lot of foreign companies. We send a lot of money overseas to place orders, and that's the case for most companies here. Whoever is placing those orders needs to build relationships with the people that they're working with, because if one of those persons get compromised, they can call you and make it sound like the person that you were expecting to call, because they would have access to their emails. They would see that, well, John always calls Grant once a month, and every once a month, Grant places an email. They have John's voice. Basically train an AI to talk like John, and then call Grant and say, "Hey, we're having a wire transfer issue. Wire transfer issue. We need you to get a new send it to this bank instead." And you're like, "All right, John, no problem. I'm gonna send it to that bank instead," and you send your money to the wrong place. So the only way you can combat that is by building relationship. You have to know about every single person that you're sending money to. You have to know that John has a dog. You have to know that John has 2 kids. So once you start dealing with salespeople and you're sending money to them, find out about them, because in the voice is in real time, but John was not going. If it's not John, he's not going to know whether he has a dog or not. So you're like, "Hey, John, how is the dog?" And John will be like, "The dog is fine," because the person have to respond quickly, pretending to be John. So they might answer, "Oh, the dog is fine. John doesn't have a dog. John hates dog." So you ask those questions to kind of feel out. Whenever you get like a sixth sense or something out of the normal. All of a sudden, John calling you and tell you to change banking or information. You've been dealing with this company for years. They've never asked to change your banking information. All of a sudden, today they call in. Like that needs to be a red flag for you and be like, no, no. Once his banking information change, yeah, we having a conversation about it. So that's the only way that I tell persons when I do cybersecurity awareness training. For those sort of things, you need to learn about people. Even if it's just a one-time transaction, you call the company up, you get a little bit of information, you tell them I'll call them back tomorrow. You call back tomorrow and you see if the information they gave you yesterday sort of matches up and stuff like that. Like, where's the company? Where is the company located? The next day it might sound like the same person, but they're saying, yeah, the company is in on the 7th floor. You call back the next day, the company is on the 13th. You guys have floors between 13 and 17. So those are some of the stuff you can do for the voice. The video, as the person before me said, yeah, you can look up for little weird anomalies in the videos to sort of protect yourself. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Manuel?
Yeah, I'd just like to add to what he said. So when it comes to families, when it comes to friends, you know, as we said, I like what he's saying about how, we need to know the people. But sometimes it may not be enough because everything is online. Your dog may be online. You may have a dog, but you may take a picture of it and you're saying, okay, this is my dog. Hey guys, this is my dog. It's on my social media page. A lot of people share a lot of their life on social media. So it can be very easy to get certain information as a hacker. May not happen, but it can be very easy. So one of the other things that you could do, if it's your friend, like in terms of what he's talking about, if it's a client, it's a bit more difficult. But if it's your friend, if it's your family, if it's your mother, it mostly happens to older folks because they are easier to scam. Okay. So if it's your mother, you say, hey mom, I'm going to call you. Can we talk about it over the phone or can I come and meet you? Also, if that cannot happen, if it's not possible, you ask them to send a picture. And you ask them to send a picture with something on your head or with something like your hand over your face. Because now we have this thing called deepfakes. So deepfakes is when I'm here, you see me, but I can put a face of someone else on mine, and I can pretend to be that person. if you Google deepfakes, you can find them. So something that breaks the deepfake is when you put your hand here like this, or if you put your hand like that. So you could ask your family member to send you a picture and put your hand like that when they're doing that. Okay. It's just another way you can, be able to tell the difference. But yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to Dylan. Yes, Dylan?
Sorry. Yeah, just one thing I'd like to add. Everything that we've mentioned so far, a lot of it can come down to just experience. So everything that my co-panelists have mentioned, the more you use AI, the more you look out for these things, the more you understand how it works, what to look out for, the better you are equipped to picking out or finding out these fakes and protecting yourself against them. So it's very important that we keep that literacy of what to look out for and just using the tools and getting familiar with them so to better expose ourselves so we can know what to expect from real and fake information.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for Manuel, just as we stay on the AI and cybersecurity question. You mentioned about utilizing apps, especially when you can work online. But how can a young person or anyone who's using these apps identify which is secure, insecure apps?
So, okay, there are many apps. I mentioned some that are secure. The most secure ones were the ones that I mentioned. So these are LinkedIn, Fiverr, and Upwork. But because they are secure does not mean that it is free from scams. A lot of people like to post ghost jobs. So they post these jobs to get personal data. They post this job just to gather information. So a way to know if it's a ghost job, if you're applying for a ghost job, is when you see the job has been out for several months. Let's say there's a job that has been there for like 2-3 months, and then they have probably hundreds of applications and it's still up. So that means that this person is not really looking to hire somebody, they're just trying to get personal data. And then another thing is when you have a conversation with the potential clients and they tell you, hey, let's get off the app, let's talk on WhatsApp. Talking on WhatsApp is fine, but they tell you, oh, let me pay you through a wire transfer or something like that. So these are kind of like no-nos. You have to be very careful. It can happen, it can be a good person trying to pay you for another means, but you have to be very careful, especially with Upwork and Fiverr. They have their own system for paying, and this kind of like helps you stay away from these things. So another thing that I should maybe mention is a way for you to get paid online. You could set up a digital account on PayPal, and then there's Wise, and then there's Payoneer. These platforms are used for digital payments. So you receive payments, you send payments, and they're disconnected from your bank. You put your money in, you say, okay, I want to send this person $30. It goes there, and then it goes across in like 14 days or less. That is the same for when you're getting paid. So if you're doing a job and the person is not looking like they're going to pay you, these platforms will make sure it doesn't happen. They protect you. Okay? So yes.
Okay.
I hope this answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Do we have any other questions from our other participants? I have one for, I think Mr. Bartley and Mr. Charles can answer. What advice would you give to a young person who feels left behind or overwhelmed by digital technology?
Okay. That's a very good question because I myself have felt that way many times. I've only really gotten into AI myself probably mid last year. And again, it's because the previous conversations about these high level concepts about training data and neural networks was at the time was really hard for me to grasp, and I didn't have as much time to spend to invest into it. But for any sort of technology that seems overwhelming, what I find for me is to focus on something I want to make. So regardless of what the concepts are, regardless of what technologies are out there, I want to do this. So then I look at options to help me achieve this, and I work it backwards. And you will end up going on a rabbit hole, but when you have a clear goal in mind, and it's not to be complicated, it can be, because again, you're trying to get your feet wet so you can build something better later and learn the environment. So think of something small, just something, I want to build this, look at the options and start learning those options. And then you gradually learn concepts, learn the industry, learn technology as you go along. The having the goal in mind helps focus your attention and focus your learning.
Thank you. So Charles, and then after
Sure.
so
Generally, you can build basically similar to what Dylan said. You have to find something that you're passionate about. Now, a lot of people when they think about AI or they think about tech, they usually imagine the usual everyday things. So you have to build an app, or you have to make a website, or you have to learn programming. But let's just take gardening, for example. You have your lettuce in your backyard, but you don't want to get up every morning and water it. You can buy a few little simple components online. That is a moisture sensor that will tell you the soil is moist or not, and then it will trigger the water to go to the plants, and you do a little hose. So you might be better with building and sort of working. There's a lot of tech in that, and that skill and being able to do this irrigation system, smart irrigation system, in itself is a skill. And most farmers, with the heat and all of the yields that you get from proper irrigation, that could just be your skill. So a lot of times when we youth are thinking about tech, what they think about is programming, and they find programming is hard, or they find, well, I'm building a website, I can't do that, or graphics. But there's so much other tech, just sensors. There's all sorts of sensors, IoT and Internet of Things. So you kind of have to sort of do some research, find your niche. You might be into basketball, just basketball stats for your friends, or building something that to help fans of basketball teams, because you know this and you like this. Maybe the way you're doing it is different from everybody else's. I think those are the things I would say, and take it piece by piece. You don't have to learn everything all at once. It's a lot. Even with everything that I know in tech, it is still very overwhelming. Right now, even with over 20 years in tech, this is still the most exciting time for tech. There has never been anything else. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, what is it going to be today? Because it's like you're ready to go. You're so much opportunities to build and do all sorts of things that you've never done before. Like real example, like we just completed building a refrigeration sensor for monitoring, smart monitoring refrigeration sensor for a company in Barbados. Now, a year ago, I would not have been able to build that, simply because it requires too many devs. You would have to do a lot of research into what's available today as far as sensors and all of this. But with AI, you can simply leverage that, learn about the sensors very quickly, figure out what works, what doesn't work, and get that done. I think we just completed implementation of that entire project in under 6 months. And in a year ago, this would probably have taken over 6 months just to be able to accomplish. Now, again, the biggest thing for me in tech and liking tech so much right now is sleep. Because you have to sleep, you have to take care of yourself, you have to kind of balance work and home and family and stuff like that. But I mean, it is so exciting, and there's no limit as far as what we can do. I mean, the region and young people should really just sit down, focus on a small piece at a time, take it in, and just really start building. You don't have to take the traditional route. The new ideas is what's going to make the really make you billions and like a lot of money, new ideas. So the way that you think is the most valuable thing in the future. You're not thinking like anybody else. So all young persons can figure out what it is that I want to do. It may not be the traditional thing, but you know you have this idea and you feel like this could work. One, you're not going to spend 15 years on it because I have no persons who've been developing an app for a very long time. The app actually got obsolete and they did not ever release that app because they've been trying to do it by themselves and so on. Today, you could test your theory, test your idea in a quick space of time, see the response from the public or whoever you're targeting, and then move on. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. You have one idea, you prototype it very quickly, and you see if it works. And if it doesn't work, you move on. So that's my 2 cents on it. Just take it piece by piece and find something that you love to do and go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. And I recognize that Mr. Olmos, you want to chime in before we go on to questions from Ms. Cecilia?
Yes. I really like what Mr. Grant said and Mr. Bartley as well. Now is the time. Honestly, right now is the best time for everybody to get their hands on. And when it comes to people that are feeling left behind and that are overwhelmed, I feel like for me personally, something that I have turned to, especially when I feel overwhelmed, not everybody has a lot going on. So sometimes you can just talk, have a conversation with ChatGPT or whichever AI that you use. And let's say you want to find you're lost. You don't know what you want to do. So you kind of begin having a conversation like it's a person, just to say that like it's a person. So you tell it, I like to do this and that, and I would like to market myself online. I would like to do something digitally. I would like to improve what I do. I would like to change it. What do you think I can put myself into? When you ask these questions, it gives you so many answers that it gets your mind rolling. Sometimes you may want to start a book. You may want to, like, there have been people that want to be authors, but there's so much to go into it. You can just go to ChatGPT. Hey, I want to write a book. What are the first few things that I need to worry about? So you take things piece by piece, then you start to develop a plan after that. There's also tools that will help you to optimize your learning. For example, for me, I like with the same ChatGPT situation, I like French. I like to practice French. So sometimes when I'm home alone, instead of using Duolingo, I would go in ChatGPT. There's an option where you can talk to the AI and I start talking in French. I can let go my tongue and I feel comfortable because it's not someone that is there to judge you or you feel judged. No, it's just a computer and it's a tool that is helping you to get what you have to get done properly. Also, there's this tool called Google AI Studio. It's basically a AI, and you can share your screen with it and you can learn different skills from it. So when you share your screen, you tell the AI, I want to build a website. Where should I start? Where should I go first? And then it will look at your screen and it will tell you, okay, if you want to build a website first, you have to get a domain, then you have to host it, and then you have to do all of these things. Then if you're gonna choose WordPress, so it gives you a breather. You get to use your brain more efficiently, but don't treat it, as I said before, don't treat it as the end all be all. All the answers that they give you, it does not mean that is it, that is what you're gonna go with. No, it's just a tool to help your brain start. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Ms. Christmas, your question?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I want to commend the organizers of this session for tonight. there is a lot that we still need to learn about AI, and I really thank you all for sharing your knowledge with us. I heard Mr. Bartley said that he started last year, late last year, and when I listened to him, it's like he's been with this for so long, you know. But something that struck me when the Mr. what's his name? Manuel? When Manuel spoke, he spoke about the elderly being scammed. And this is one of the things that I have been thinking of. And with evolution, usually we have a lot of challenges, we have our pros and our cons. And of course, with AI, we can have a lot of employment for young people. However, my concern is the older folks, you know. A lot of the older folks are being scammed. And when we look at it, it usually by somebody they know, quote unquote, because that person is going to call them and say, hey, look this, look that, making them believe that it is actually the person. Now, these people are not, you know, internet savvy or AI savvy, I should say. How would they know the difference between the real thing and the fake thing, especially if they do not ask somebody? And another thing that stood out was when he spoke about the video and having to put up one finger in such a way that people do not scam you using your video. How can you tell the difference, and what level of computer literacy would you need to even look at these things and see that it's fake?
Okay, you asked a lot there. So you said my name last, so I'm going to start. So when it comes to when it comes to putting up the finger to your face is when you putting up your finger to not to your face, but you ask whoever is asking you for money, whoever is asking you for assistance, if it's money, or if they want you to sign up for something, or if they want you to click a website, you ask them for the picture. When they put their finger on their face, I'm not too sure how familiar you are with Snapchat filters or internet filters. So, you know, those with the poppy ears and those sort of things. So these things, they can, so sorry, I lost my train of thought. So as I said, the filters, they can practically what I'm trying to say is that these tools are essentially filters. So they have become so good at lying to people. So I am here, somebody can take my face and put it on themselves, and then they can pretend to be Manuel. So let's say I speak to my friend. No, my friend speaks to me, tells me, Manuel, can I have some money? Let's say I get sorry, let's say I get hacked. The person takes my face, and then the person says, man, my friend, can I get some money? My friend should say, okay, can you confirm that it's you? They also had the other ways to confirm, which is if you know the person, about the dog and those sort of things. And then my suggestion is about the finger, which is the person needs to identify themselves. If they can put their finger like this, and you can still see that it's the person, that means it's the real person. That means that they are not using AI in the video to fake what is going on. Okay, I think you asked something else, but that's what my mind came on. Can you say what else you said, or is that it? Sorry about that. I lost my train of thought for real.
That's fine. That's fine. I asked a lot, like you said.
Yeah.
So I was also asking, what about the call, the verbal conversation? You know, sometimes, you know, the older folks especially, and not so much older folks, maybe those of us in our, you know, we were born in the 80s and we're still getting, you know, technologically savvy and so forth. Sometimes somebody can text you or even call you, and you do not even realize that it's fake because the person might tell you a certain name. Some of us might actually ask the question, you know, just to find out who's calling or just to prove that it's the right person. But what about the person who cannot tell the difference? What happens to that person? I'm not sure if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to say, but obviously not everybody knows to do what Mr. Grant said, which is you have to know the people that is talking to you or that you're talking to. So the other thing is, if they do not know that they have to ask questions, the next thing to do is for us, our role as the youth, is to sensitize the older people, teach them, get them to know the different cues, the different things that will put them at risk. So obviously, somebody that was not a part of this call, let's say my grandma, she wouldn't know to ask this scammer, is it you, Manuel? No. So it's my role to tell her. I'm on the internet every day. I should tell her, hey grandma, you have to look out for this and that. If I ever ask you for money and it's in a very different, like if it's in a very strange way, if it doesn't sound like me, you need to ask a couple of questions. So I believe it's everybody's job to help their family members and their cousin, if their cousin doesn't know much about the phone or stuff like that, you have to help your people. There is also you could also have a safe word that you could use with your family member to know if it's you. So let's say my grandma and I, we decide to have our safe word as pumpkin. When I ask for, or let's say our safe word is, do you want some pumpkin? I can tell her, or let's say the AI is asking, not the AI, the hacker is asking her, can you send me some money? It's me, Manuel. She says, do you want some pumpkin? The hacker will say no, but the hacker doesn't know my response. They can know everything about my grandma, they can know everything about me, but they don't know the exact response I will have for the person that is a part of my family. Okay. So as I said before, with Mr. Grant's point, is that you need to know your people, but sometimes it's not enough. So sometimes the hacker may know you as well as your family member. So that's why it's important to have a safe word to try asking them for a picture and those sort of things. Okay, I hope that answered the question. So yeah.
Okay, I see.
Thank you.
Dylan.
Miss, before you go on, I think that was a perfect response. And I think we have our work cut out for us, because if we have this AI revolution, I think we need to get everybody on board. We need to rope everybody in, because it's going to affect everyone, whether it's positive or negative. So
Yes,
thank you very much,
absolutely.
Manuel. I appreciate your response.
No problem.
Thank you. And Dylan?
Yes, thank you. So in a similar vein to Mr. Olmos' response, it is difficult, especially with the older folks. I will say that there are some things that even today, the less tech-savvy people just will not do without reaching out for assistance. So for example, my mom, my elder auntie, when they need to do anything on their phone, they call me. They're not even going to try and bother and like that, they just call me. And as much as it can get a bit frustrating, because sometimes very simple things, I also understand that they don't want to put risk messing up something even further and causing even more trouble. So we need to tackle this in two ways. One, we need to sensitize them on the risk and what to look out for. That one is going to be challenging, we know. The other thing is just help them understand, okay, here are a list of things that you just do not do if you cannot reach out to someone to validate. Hopefully, not everyone has this, I understand, but hopefully there's at least one person in their life that they can physically get in contact with that can validate things for them. So, for example, if I'm overseas and my mom gets a message saying, "Can you transfer $1,000 for NCCU for whatever means to me?" I would like to believe that's the first thing she should do. Reach out to my sister, get to my sister physically, and validate what she's saying, see if it makes sense, and obviously try to reach out to me directly as well. So just a list of things I would say them. Don't do this, period. And if you can, reach out to somebody before you take any further action. And in addition to that, learn about the things to look out for yourself, just in case you may not get to someone physically in time.
Okay.
All right. And Mr.
Just add,
Grant?
let me just add one thing.
Yeah.
Is one, there has to be continuous learning and continuous sensitization for all of this, because they're very educated, and I can give you a ton of examples of very educated executives who've gotten hit with this exact scam, and they have been taken for millions and millions of dollars. So it's very difficult to sort of, even your, and they're gonna play on the, with AI plus human greed and just persons wanting to make a quick buck, is going to sort of speed up all of these things. And what Dylan just said, with he being overseas and cannot contact his mom, or his mom can't get in contact with you. What hackers do these days is they do this like a movie script. And I don't like to call them hackers, because the good guys are some of the good guys are the hackers, but adversaries. What they do these days is plan this out like a movie script. They know you're flying to London. They have 8 hours. So they know you're unavailable for 8 hours. So like the mom, I forgot my phone. My phone went, lost my phone at the airport, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to get you for 8 hours. You're on a flight. They know that because probably they're in your email and they see you on a flight, and they plan it out very. So even some of the things about trying to contact you and all of that, it's going to be a matter of urgency, and they try to make it urgent that you have to act now. So it's a really a lot of sensitization. I think as individuals ourselves, we need to ensure that we don't, these are things that we probably just tell our family, hey, if I'm in a bad way, you probably, I let me call you first. If I cannot call you and speak to you directly and give you the password and to explain things to you, you probably should not take any action until you actually get in contact with me. It might seem dire, but if it's just money and you sending me money, I should have backups, and I work with cash every time, and you sort of lay out where you're going, how you're going to be doing it, your routes and stuff like that. Not through an email, with them publicly before you leave, so they understand, all right, I'm going to be on a flight, it's going to be 8 hours, but hey, I have backup. I have money in my thing. I'm not taking all my luggage. I have clothes in my carry-on. Those sort of things. So I think we just have to be really better communicate better with our family members in these times, and really sensitize them as what is possible, and don't say it won't happen to you, because the internet is global. Everybody, even if it's $100 they take from us in the Caribbean, it's $100 1,000 times, and that's a good payday, or a few hours of for a few for hours of work. And if they do that tomorrow, and they did it yesterday, and they continue to do that every day, it's a good payday. So we don't have to think it's just $100, because it's $100 times 1,000. So that's my take on it.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. And we see we just have 4 more minutes left. I don't know if we will have enough time for one more question. Is Merkwan back?
Miss, I wanted to ask a question,
Okay.
or maybe a comment.
Try to do that in 1 more minute. We have to end at 7. So
I just want to commend everybody for this evening, especially Mr. Grant, who just spoke a while ago. I believe we need to keep ensuring that we ourselves try our best to stay on par. The only thing I know, and I'm born in the 80s, the only thing I know is my WhatsApp. I go and send an email, I go on Facebook, and then that's it. So any other thing I would, and I want to commend my cousin. I'm very proud of you. The sky's the limit. I don't pronounce your name badly, so I'm not even going to try that. The young man whose roots from Piditsufere, I'm really proud of you. Something happened, I just want to share. So I kept seeing money coming out from my account. And when I query, they tell me it's a game. Somebody's playing a game using my card. I'm like, game, but nobody at my home play games. After that, when I went to the bank is pulling off my nephew email. I'm like, that nephew don't play games. So then when the big bank started to talk about court case, I started to get scared because I don't want my nephew. Because I called my nephew, I said, did you use my card for anything? Did you? No, auntie. But the bank is saying is your email address, no, auntie. So after that, I recognized something happened. I still unsure what had happened, but it seems like somebody that maybe knew my nephew, knew his email address. Something happened between my home and his home, and games, my money kept missing on my account. So the bank had to do what they could do, shut down the account, had to do stuff again. But I honestly know, I mean, I'm not putting hands in fire for my nephew, but just for precaution, I think people need to safeguard things like the bank cards, safeguard stuff that you not just leave your bag anywhere and have persons accessing it. I just never knew what happened. So I just want to share that. And again, we just need to keep educating ourselves for our mediums. Youth Division have a lot of programs. And I think maybe what we can do is keep empowering and keep engaging our young people. I just want to share that.
Thank you, and that's a wonderful way to close this evening. Thank you, Lily. Dan. Yeah, we just have to continue educating ourselves and looking out for the little clues that would tell us that this information is not real. I mean, quite recently there was a little information that was posted in the Caribbean, and a lot of persons felt that that was actually a real set of information that came out from the White House in America. And one little search could have actually prevented that whole scare in the Caribbean, where you could have just searched to see if that same information was on CNN, which is a trusted site. If it was on Fox News, if it was on BBC, it was not anywhere, but we still had that piece of information circulated that it was gospel truth. So we have these things and we have to continue educating ourselves. And as we close this evening, I do hope that we leave this session in greater insight and motivation to explore the digital world confidently. We can look at AI, we can look at cybersecurity, communication. Basically, that future is in your hands. And Lilia said it a while ago that at the Youth Division, we remain committed to creating opportunities for you, the young people, for the adults to learn, practice, and safely basically apply that digital skills, whether through our training programs, through our trainers ourselves actually teaching them how to utilize the digital tools, our mentorship, partnerships like how we had tonight. And we aim to help you thrive in a world that is shaped by technology. And also, as we promote responsible use of AI and digital platforms, we also stress the importance of safety, the importance of continuous learning, understanding how to protect yourself, your data, create ethical use, and basically engage in positively online use. So let's continue to build a generation of, and we said it all night, a generation of creators, not just consumers, and have that digital culture rooted in responsibility, innovation, and purpose. So we want to thank all our speakers here this evening. Thank you for your time. We want to thank everyone who came onto the Zoom and who are on the Facebook page, the members and staff of the Youth Development Division, and each media. Thank you, DBS Radio, for covering this up for this evening, and each of you who have joined us this evening. We just want you to keep growing, keep learning, and keep leading. I know International Youth Day, International Youth Skills Day has long gone, but let's keep that frame in mind that we want to promote the youth skills among our youth, and want to say thank you for coming this evening. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
evening.
Good
All right.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Good evening, and thank you, everybody.